Everything good with you?
Yeah, good. As we were saying in the pre-talk, there's a lot, and yeah, for me, I just feel like I'm going along this path of life, and there's lots that's kind of saying your attention's needed here, or look this way, and yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, there's a lot going on, so it's just trying to work out, and obviously with the energies that are going on around these events, the lunar eclipse and things, is just all about kind of letting go of those things that doesn't serve us, isn't it?
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I agree 100%. And I also, the lunar eclipse is in Virgo, so that comes down to like our day-to-day habits and the way that we move around in the world on a routine kind of basis, I suppose. So it's good to start to look into that as well to see if there's things that we can update or change in our day-to-day life.
I've got a lot of that, to be honest. I have noticed over the past couple of months that bad habits, shall we say, the habits that I've kind of thought I'd got rid of have crept back in. And even though I've still like got caught up in those habits, there's always that awareness, which is like, this isn't serving you. Why? I don't know why you keep doing this, but obviously, in a way, deep down, it is serving me in some way. So
yeah, serving you in a way of creating awareness around it.
Yeah.
Perhaps another level of awareness that you didn't have the last go around,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing. Awareness keeps coming. There's no getting rid of it. Once you start this journey, it keeps coming.
Never stops.
The tsunami of awareness.
Tsunami of awareness in every aspect of your life, which can be extremely overwhelming as well when you start to like dig into every single little program that you have or way that you react or emotionally respond to things or the way you use food as trying to push down energies or like everything, right? We could become aware of every single little thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have found for a while, even if I am overeating or watching Netflix for hours on end, the awareness is there in the middle of it all, and it's just kind of like, okay, you're doing this now.
Yeah.
We know this isn't great for you, but we're doing this now.
Yeah, no, I fully appreciate it. I actually watched a movie the other night, and I ended up stopping watching it, even though it was pretty good. And the reason I stopped is because I started noticing all these subliminal messaging that was going on, and I was just like, no, I don't want this. Like, I'm not interested in this movie intersecting my nightmares, in a couple of weeks. I'm not interested in all these imagery, flowing around in my psyche. Like, no, I'm done. So I just stopped it, and I'm actually not going to continue watching it. So that level of awareness, it was there for a while as I was watching it, and then eventually I just kind of turned it off. So that in that moment, that was helpful.
Wow, that is incredible. I don't know if you feel it as well, but some certain I find it more with kind of music videos and things like that, where I feel like this intense energy coming at me.
Yeah.
It's like a bombardment of energy, and I can really feel that. And sometimes it might come through as like frequencies as well, where it's just like, this is uncomfortable.
I agree, and it comes in music videos. It comes in commercials sometimes. It comes in movies. It comes in songs. Like all of a sudden you feel like you're not really resonating with what you're listening to, or you're actually sort of starting to pay attention to the lyrics, and you're like, this is not. I'm not in alignment with this. On some days it might be okay, but on other days it's you're just gonna turn it off. I think that brings back to point as where we're starting, and where in our lives are we ready to do things differently? Are we ready to, listen to other types of music? Are we ready to bring in drumming and gongs into our lives instead of the latest pop song, or are we willing for them both to coexist and be fine with that as well?
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? Because this is kind of a tug of war for me sometimes, because I'm like, I'm on this earth to experience life on this earth, because this is the only place that we get to experience this. But then I'm like, I don't want to get too caught up in enjoying life so much that I forget myself again. So yeah, it's all about balance, isn't it? Just being able, I suppose. And I think that's the same with the spiritual journey in general, because in life, we have to do the day-to-day things. Unless we want to live in a tent somewhere, we have to work and we have to get a certain amount of things, but we don't have to, but I suppose the trick is to be able to do that and then remove yourself from it.
Yeah. So to live in this world but not be of this world, right? Or however it goes.
Yeah.
It's like you have the awareness that there's something else as well, not just the what you're currently caught up in. So becoming that observer. And as I'm speaking, something else is flowing through, which is, we've been talking about for quite some time now about what we sense as being a very fast moving energy, and we sense as being kind of maybe even an overwhelming energy that's also pointing us in the direction of like looking into our shadows, looking into things that we thought we cleared already, but it's coming up. And the beauty of all of that we've been going through and talking about for a few months now is that I really do sense that now is kind of the beginning of the beginning. Now is when, because we did all of that work, with this eclipse that's coming, in the next couple of days, there is a sense of a new beginning. There is a sense of moving into something brand new for us. And so we needed to clear all that stuff in order to be able to kind of stand there at the starting gate as, they hold up the gun and shoot it in the air. And we're sort of ready to take off running. And I believe that March and April are going to be amazing months for us. They're going to be quite it's almost like we're going to look back and we're going to be like, wow, I can't believe those things happened in our lives.
Yeah, it is a really exciting time. It's daunting as well, isn't it? Because
it is.
There's been a lot going on over the past couple of months, but even now, if I sit here and reflect on what's happened over the last month or 2 months, it's incredible, isn't it? And we've spoken about how things are going to accelerate. So it just feels huge. That's all I can say. It just feels huge. So
it really,
it's a really exciting time.
Yeah. And you and I spoke about in our pre-talk about the plate. We have our plate and we keep on, to me, it feels like I keep on adding things to that plate. I'm at this buffet table and I'm just picking things. I'm like, oh, I want more potatoes. I want more of this. And then eventually I have this plate and it's overfilled with all these amazing, beautiful, yummy things that I want. And at the same time, I can barely walk over to the table to sit down to eat without like things falling off of the plate because I've packed it full, with all these things that I love doing. But at the same time, it's like, okay, but where is there a way that we can peel back these things, or are they just, as you commented, are they just going to start falling off the plate?
Yeah, because, well, when we do that as well, seeing that plate of food, I don't know if you have them with you, but we have carveries, they called. So you go and they cut your meat and then you pile your vegetables and everything on.
Yeah.
But when you get it back to the table, it's overwhelming because it's like, wow, this is I love all of these things, but this is too much now. So perhaps it is just a case of kind of, and this energy, getting rid of the things that no longer serve us, perhaps those unhealthy fried things that we put on there, and just get into the goodness, I suppose.
I was thinking the vegetables would fall off, I'll just have the greasy stuff. No, I'm just kidding. The stuff we really want.
Greasy stuff on there.
Who are we kidding, right?
Yeah.
No, but there is something, and I know we're kind of going along with this food plate analogy, but there is something to it right now, and there is something about, you know, maybe it's about reorganizing our priorities on that plate. How much are we willing to give away? And perhaps we're not even to give away even half of our plate to other activities. Maybe we want half of it for ourselves, and then we're only willing to give away or put piles on one side of the plate. Activities. I'm thinking like, how much time we spend with our friends, how much we work, how much we say yes to things, commitments, whatever sport activities we have. Like perhaps we wanting to bring more of that back to ourselves, more of the space on the plate back to ourselves, and leave it open for things to just appear in our lives.
Yeah, that's really beautiful, actually, because it's kind of like when you're doing work on yourself. If you're full of, you need to let go of things, don't you? Otherwise, to create that space for new things to come in.
Yeah.
So I really love that analogy. It really makes that very simple and understandable.
Yeah. And I think because personally I've been feeling like that for a while now, that I've been walking around with that plate that's overfilled and almost like toppling over, that I really feel a need to sit down and kind of peel back, really look at the activities that I really want to focus on, and doing it from a place of am I really passionate about? Where do I want to
Yeah.
spend my focus? And then peeling back the things that I'm not so passionate about, that I'm not so excited about in my life, and see where that takes me.
Wow. This sounds like a really exciting place to be, actually,
Mm,
to give ourselves that opportunity.
yeah.
Because we've all lived our life, haven't we, where we take on more and more, and sometimes we take more on because there's parts of us that are uncomfortable or we don't want to sit with. So this is our opportunity now to be really sitting with those parts of us, isn't it, and healing them.
Yeah, exactly. Why do you say yes to everything, right? Yeah. I'll give an example. I just recently stepped down from a board work, and I just decided. I basically asked my family, I'm doing this, and this. What can we peel back? And we all were in agreement that, okay, this is something that we could peel back, and so I said, okay, I'm no longer gonna do this, and it felt good.
Yeah, yeah, that's incredible, and yeah, I love that, actually.
Mm,
This, and I'm terrible for saying yes to everything. I never
me
want to
too.
let anyone down,
No.
or and I've always been the same. I oversubscribe, and then I inadvertently end up letting people down or being late for something because I've oversubscribed. So
Hmm.
that's something I've really been working on over the past 6 months or so, definitely.
Yeah. So it's kind of like looking through our day to day, our week to week activities, and see if we can carve out more space in between everything to the next thing. You know, Allow ourselves more grace and more space, and see what else will come in and fill up that space. And I believe that that thing that will come in will be more. And I know it sounds funny, but it'll be more spacious.
Yeah, without a doubt. And this has reminded me, a colleague of mine, usually in work, we sit there, or I sit there and eat my lunch as I'm working.
Mm,
So I don't get that separation. But I went into the canteen the other day and my colleague was sat there reading a book.
yeah.
And then I spoke to him afterwards and he said, yeah, it's just amazing to have that half an hour where you're not thinking about anything apart from what you're doing.
Mm,
So yeah, those, and you could even do a couple of minutes, couldn't you, a day or a couple of times a day, just take yourself off,
mhm.
stand outside, or perhaps find somewhere to meditate for a couple of minutes. And
Yeah.
that's the space that we need for those insights to come through, isn't it?
I think so.
Oh,
And for
we've
us,
got someone else from Sweden.
oh, okay.
We've got Tommy's Jostrom. Good
Okay.
evening from a very cold Sweden.
Yeah, amazing. It's not as here. It's not as cold as it was. The snow is melting, but it depends on where you are. You could be
Yeah,
further north. Yes. So absolutely. I agree with what you're saying, and something popped into my head that went out as quickly as it came. So I'm left at zero now.
it'll come back.
It'll come back. Yeah, it left.
Yeah, another thing that I've got on my list as well that I came across was kind of finishing off, and I suppose this is a way of releasing things as well. And I've had this with my tax bill recently. I've been putting it off, and I've ended up with a fine because I'm over the deadline.
Yep.
But I got to this point where I realized I need to get rid of this so that it's not hanging over me anymore. And I think that's a really important thing that we can do, is just get rid of those things that are just hanging on that we can just get rid of.
Yeah. Right. And also, so we'll stop feeding them energy, because as long as you're putting it off, you're still thinking about it every single day, many times throughout the day. And so it has its hold on you, even though you think that you're pushing it forward, it's still a very big part of your life, and you're just dragging it along, figuratively speaking, right?
Yeah. And it's an energy drain, isn't it? It's those little things all add up
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
perhaps take us away from something that actually moves us forward.
Yeah, exactly. You had also mentioned something about there's the blood or not the yeah, there's the blood moon, right? So you have the kind of red around the moon for the eclipse that's coming. And that I think has significant as well, because there's something about the death and rebirth of you, or something in you, or a pattern, or how should I say it? Something that we've been doing for a very long time that we're ready to kind of let go of now. So this moon is sort of stronger and more significant than others, because it has that power of some part of you dying and then being reborn as something else.
Yeah. Yeah, that, and I've seen that a lot in myself. There's been times where I don't really suffer with anxiety all that much anymore, but I've had extreme times where I've actually thought I'm having a heart attack. But then what I've realized is a link, and it is that part of us dying. Perhaps there's an anxiety about something, but I think having awareness about that and not getting caught up in like the anxiety or whatever feeling, emotion, whatever, that helps us to release it. Or that's what I'm feeling for myself anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love you saying that, because I don't know about you, but here's something that I find interesting, that I find in myself and most other people. As soon as we solve a problem, or something disappears out of our life that causes us anxiety or nervousness, or, whatever it is, we're constantly worried about it. Something else will pop in that causes the same amount of anxiety, the same amount of nervousness, the same amount of worry. Have you noticed? And so it's kind of like the universe is testing you by saying, "Oh, okay, we removed this thing. How about this thing? Do you realize that you have the same level of anxiety right now as you did yesterday, or tomorrow, that you did 3 years ago? You're constantly carrying around this anxiety about what's going to happen tomorrow. How is this going to work out? Why are these things showing up in our lives? And so it's like these things are being switched out for our amusement. It's kind of like, can you see that it's the same thing, but you're also constantly nervous?
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, that's such a huge lesson.
So I think right now, maybe there's an invitation to say, okay, I'm realizing as I move through my life, there's constantly things that show up that is causing me nervousness. How about if I let go of all of it? how about if I realize that everything that shows up is for me and me alone, and it's carrying me in a same level of upsetness or rejection or aversion to whatever's showing up, and it's causing me the same level of nervousness. Can I let it all go? Can I just trust
Yeah.
that it's going to be fine? It doesn't matter what shows up in my external reality, I'm going to be fine.
Yeah, it's that allowing, isn't it? And that's a much more peaceful place to be rather than fighting everything, I suppose, trying to get rid of the anxiety or whatever's going on, but just being at peace with the fact that these things come and they leave.
Yeah, exactly. And that you've been okay before. You know, you've had
Yeah.
probably worse moments in your life than you have right now. Maybe you've had better moments too, but you made it through worse times. You made it through difficult times, and yet you're here. You're still here. You're still breathing. You're still decently okay, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really important thing that we can remind ourselves, isn't it? We have been through money worries or health worries or whatever, but we are still here now.
Yeah,
And that just shows us that we're always safe, we're always looked after.
exactly. And I think it's an important reminder as we move into a space of perhaps more uncertainty than ever, more kind of new energy, more uh, spaces that we haven't really explored before, spaces of ourselves, and in other, maybe we're moving into something completely new right now, and to have that awareness that we have done it before.
Yeah, we're going to
There's,
be fine.
hmm, there's something that's larger than us that's actually taking care of the planning, so we don't have to, which is good because we think we're good planners, but we're actually not that great.
No. That's the control element, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a little note that I had on my list there, and I've said this moment in time is less about excitement and more about composure. And when I read that when you were speaking, I feel like that's the energy of our call today. There's no like it feels very calm. It feels very, this is what we're doing now. We'll just allow this to happen, and I really love that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And it's about how should I say it? It's about being calm regardless of what the external reality is bringing about, still staying in your center. And I do believe that we're in for quite of an amusement park, so to speak. There's going to be all kinds of things happening in the next couple months, both for us personally and also us on the societal level, so to speak. I'd heard someone talk about the fact that that we're just in the beginning of the truth cycle, for example. So the things that are coming out in our social media, in the news, and so on, it's just the beginning. So if people are shocked now, it's going to be quite the ride. And for people who are not shocked, they might be shocked for a few months from now, seeing other things come out that is not in your level of awareness right now.
I was watching Bashar the other day, Darryl Anka, an interview that he did with this lady that I watch, and he was talking about extraterrestrials and how that's it's kind of gonna come. Their how do you say, their existence is gonna start coming into our experience, shall we say? And it'll start off slowly. And then there'll be a massive shift. Basically, we'll know that there's other entities outside of this world, and I think that's going to grow everyone spiritually as well. So, just to know that we're not the job role and the husband, the wife, the mother. We're much more than that. So
yeah, beautiful. I listen to this person called Dr. Clements sometimes, and he has, he's absolutely beautiful the way that he speaks about things. You can tell that he's coming very deeply from his heart and also from his experience. And he speaks about it. He has several teams, and his teams are not like humans working here. His teams are Arcturians and Pleiadians and so on and so forth. And they're constantly part of him, and he's constantly part of them. They're giving him advice and so on and so forth. And the way that he speaks about it is just so absolutely gorgeous. How the level of peace that they have, the level of kind of compassion, love, awareness that they have, and they speak very much from a place of deep understanding and deep wisdom. And I feel that more and more of us are going to start to develop these relationships where we, where there's almost like a communion, of sorts, telepathy.
yeah, I feel that. I feel I've always been a bit kind of aware of things anyway around me, but I do feel that that's becoming more. There's more energy around me, I would say. It kind of, and it scares me at times, that kind of thing, to be honest, because, and I'm kind of like, okay, let's just calm everything down now, and we'll do this in a slower pace.
Yeah. But what's interesting about that is that, it's always there. It's just we haven't been aware of it before. There's all these dimensions superposed, on top of each other or throughout each other, or however you want to, describe it. And we haven't been aware, but now we're slowly becoming more and more aware. And that's when the veil starts to open and we start to realize more deeply that that's where we're, that we're interconnected, so to speak. So I'm happy that you brought that up, because I think we're going to see more of that for sure.
Yeah, again, it's allowing it, isn't it? Like for me, I've been frantically trying to connect with my spirit guides and future self and whoever can give me the advice that I want to be where I want to be. But there is an element of fear there as well. I don't know whether it's because I'm comfortable, but yeah, there is, and in your own time, I believe you can allow that knowledge and the wisdom and everything to come through.
Yeah,
and just build those connections.
Yeah. And the time that's good for you,
Yeah.
I actually I'm glad you brought that up, because I took a forest walk with my dog today, and I realized that my plate was very full. I have all these things I need to do, as we started the conversation. And then I was like, I need to ask my team to take care of this. I need to ask my spirit team to help me clear this plate out, to help me do some of these things so that I can, I can allow myself to be more free. And I've done this many times before, and it works like a charm. You just send out the request, and you'll see it start to unfold in your life. So that's actually an easy thing that everyone can do, is to just create that communion with your spirit team and ask them to help you with something very specifically, because they can't do anything until you ask. But if you actually ask, I'll give you a perfect example. So I don't know if I spoke about this before, but I had a huge number of projects one year just before Christmas, and it was about 3 weeks left, and I realized there's no way I'm going to be able to finish this. So I just sent the request out to my higher selves, to my team, and I said, okay, you guys need to help me with this. I cannot do this by myself. And just within a couple of days, people started calling me saying, hey, I can do this part. Oh, I can take care of this. And I was like, awesome. I ended up having so much time, and everything ended up being completed on time and delivered and beautiful. And so it's just a question of remembering that you have that team to assist you all the time. And they're more than happy to help you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing, actually, isn't it? Just to again, that you're always safe. You've got that support around you.
For sure. And then you just release it. You're not going to go dabbling in there anymore. You're not going to try to solve it. You're going to have them solve it for you in whatever way they find works at the moment. I'm so happy we're talking about this.
Yeah.
Because
again,
yeah, go ahead.
Go on, sorry.
No. I was just going to say, because there's this sensation there, because you and I sent out a request by starting to have this conversation. What's going to come next? What's going to happen? How are we going to move through the next few months? And so for me, it's very clear now. We're going to have a lot more interaction with other worldly beings, and we're going to have a lot more interaction with our higher selves and our team. And that's going to become much more part of our day-to-day habit, because eclipses in Virgo, so it's going to be part of our daily habits. Perhaps we have a conversation with our team every single day where we're just like, hey, what should we do today?
I'm taking that into this time, definitely. That's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah. And just to become more and more aware that you're completely surrounded by this team that always has your back, that always wants you to, and the big player in that team is your higher self too, who's part of that team, who's constantly guiding you, who's constantly showing you what you need to see at this very moment. So allowing them in more and more without pushing, as you were saying, without forcing, just see if the more they communicate, the more you can listen.
What came to me then, we go through life sometimes and think we can control everything. And then we realize, like, going through this work, we realize everything is just happening the way it should be. But what came to me was releasing the control actually gives us more control. I don't know if that makes sense, because it's kind of like, well, I'm allowing my higher self or my guides to do this, and all I need to do is just send that request out. I don't need to do anything more than that. And that's... I feel like I need to just take a breath of relief. I'm just like, I've been running around like a headless chicken for the past 38 years. And now I can just hand this stuff and be like, okay, let's see how this pans out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so the truth is also coming from within. You and I started this conversation about speaking, or not, somewhere in the conversation talking about truths coming out. But the kind of truth that you're talking about now is coming from within you. What is the truth of my being? How am I connected to everything? So that truth is coming out now as well. Maybe I don't have to run around like a headless chicken anymore. Maybe I can just lean back into myself and realize that, oh, I've been taking care of this all along, so to speak. This has already been planned for me. I just need to enjoy it as well.
Wow. That just feels comfortable. That's like a big hug. It's like someone just saying, come on, it's okay.
Yeah. You know what they say when people reach a certain level of awareness, they have this big belly laugh because they realize they've done it to themselves the whole time. No one else has been doing anything. It's just their perception of the world is what's been creating all of it. And that realization is like one of the deepest realizations we can have. Because now we can just jump off the treadmill and, look at it instead and be like, I was running on there all along, but I was setting the speed. I was setting the incline, and I was setting the time, and now I'm complaining that I'm tired.
It's ridiculous, really, isn't it? It's so funny.
Yeah, it's really funny. I can just step off and I could be like, look at that. It's going really fast.
I don't have to run with it. I can just watch it.
I can just watch it and be like, oh, that looks like a lot of work.
Good job, treadmill.
Yeah. Because isn't
Oh,
that
that's
what
so
life
funny.
feels like sometimes? You know, you wake up in the morning, you get on that treadmill, and you just keep on running until you go to bed.
Yeah.
Let's change that. Let's be the person who's standing next to it instead and being like, hey, what should I do today? Should I jump on it for a little bit or not?
And that's a really fantastic visual, isn't it? Because everyone knows what a treadmill looks like when it's going.
Yeah.
I really do love that, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. It's a nice image. And also the understanding that you're not the treadmill. You're the person who's running on the treadmill and you can jump off.
And beyond that, I suppose, we're the awareness telling the person what to do on the treadmill. So
exactly. Yeah.
wow.
How's that for insight?
That's fantastic. I really do love it. And I love, because I know we've spoken about this before. We've taken those couple of minutes in the morning, which I do now in bed, and just meditate or feel my body, feel the energy, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm definitely going to be incorporating is the request to the higher self, or just saying, how is today going to go? Perhaps just perhaps that feels good, actually, just handing that over and just saying, it's similar to your saying, which is, how good can this get?
Yeah.
But it's like saying that to your higher self and just saying, show me how good this can get. Let's play a game and just see how good it can get.
Yeah, exactly. That's beautiful. Let's play a game. I love that. Because that makes it more fun too, you know? We're testing this. Let's see how it goes. It's not so serious, you know?
And it reminds me a bit, like back last year, me and you were doing coaching together.
Yeah.
And I did a manifestation technique that I saw where I decided I wanted to see a butterfly or a dragonfly. And in the 6 years I've lived in this house, I haven't seen a dragonfly. Then one day I came through the gate, a butterfly flew past me and led my eye to a dragonfly on the fence. And I was just like, wow.
I remember this. You told me.
I didn't put that butterfly or the dragonfly there. It was just, it was manifested. So,
wow. Yeah, that's a perfect example of how your intention can start to change something around you, you know? So, the truth that we're speaking of, the movement, you know, that we're heading into right now is more fully becoming who we are. A conscious being who has all the resources around him or herself, who's fully safe and protected and can move through the world in a much more playful way. That's what I'm sensing from our conversation.
Yeah, and I feel that deeply. As you do, sometimes you get into adulthood, and that playful nature of being a child kind of gets lost or buried or whatever. And that's where our inspiration, because as children, unconditioned, they kind of just go off and they're not bothered about standing on a stage and singing in front of 20 people or something. But we take on a lot, don't we? So yeah, I feel that's incredible, actually, and that's really, it fits in with this because we're letting go of things that don't serve us. So
right. It's not so much about becoming something new. It's about letting go of the things that we no longer require.
That sounds like much less effort, doesn't it? I know we've spoken about that backpack of things we carry around, and it's literally just taking that off and saying, I'm not going to carry that anymore. There's nothing more that we need to do other than just take it off.
I'm sorry. I just saw an image of us running on a treadmill with a backpack.
That is exactly how life has been, isn't it?
I can make it. More speed, more incline, you know?
Put some more weight in my backpack. And why not give me that plate of food so I can run with that as well?
Hey, I can probably juggle a couple other things too, you know? I'm sorry, but it's like too funny.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, it's hilarious because that's our life, you know? Because that's how we run around. We're not even getting anywhere. That's why it's a treadmill.
Yeah.
We're not even getting anywhere. So that's why it's funny. Oh, gosh. What an insight.
It is. This call's been full of insights for me, so thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I really like it. It's finally getting that belly laugh, you know? Hopefully everyone will get it these couple months. Just the full realization of the ridiculousness of everything that we've been doing, and then putting that down and saying enough. No longer am I running here on this treadmill with this backpack, juggling things in my hands, taking phone calls, writing things down at the same time, right? I'm gonna get off the treadmill. I'm gonna put down the backpack, all the stuff I have in my hands, and I'm just gonna be.
Yeah. So are there any like techniques that you'll be doing over the next couple of months, or is there something you've been doing anyway that you think could be helpful?
You know, I was reminded again how important water is in our life, and I know I speak about that, but I started blessing my water more intently as of late, and just the simple realization of how much of life is there. And so that I will definitely keep on doing. I also just want to just deeply stay in the now moment. I saw a picture of my children when they were much younger, and I realized, oh, when they were that age, that was the age that was normal to me. And now I look at them and they're still young, but they're older, and I just want to, because very quickly they're going to be much older, and I'm going to be like, oh wow, they look very young, the age that they are now. So just savoring every day, every moment, and just be I don't want to say be in the now, but be in even the difficult situations, even in the difficult moments, even in the moment that you're tired, angry, cranky. Just be in those moments still, like allow them to unfold as well.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. And those moments where things get really tough are often our biggest teachers, aren't they? So just being aware and being present with those things, even though it might be really uncomfortable at the time, it's just the growth is just gonna be exponential.
Yeah. And a lot of times, just the absolute most simple things are the most powerful ones, the most powerful transformers. We tend to make things complicated for ourselves. We do all these meditation techniques, and we do, all kinds of difficult, tricky things, and then just the simple breath can be the most powerful thing. How about you?
Well, it's funny when you said that we do all these difficult things. The thing that came to mind was I was determined a couple of years ago I was going to win the Euro Millions. So I came across this technique where you had to write down this sentence 52 times every day. And I pretty much filled a book within a week or two, just writing these things. And yeah,
Wow.
but that's the doing part again, isn't it? Just thinking that we, as you said, we have to do certain meditations or do whatever, but it is just those moments of silence and clarity and presence which are the most powerful. And I know I've mentioned it on other calls, but I'm going through this Eckhart Tolle Becoming a Teacher of Presence, which is a fantastic course. But even on those moments when I do get caught off guard, I'm able to come back to that presence much quicker. So, and it's a much more peaceful place to be, isn't it? Rather than getting taken on this ride of, you know, someone might say something to you and then it's going round and round in your head and there's scenarios for everything. And if they say this, I'm going to say that. And yeah, it's just, yeah. I completely agree that the presence and just taking those little moments, I think. When I work from home, I usually take 20 minutes and do a meditation and things like that. But yeah, that's where the real insights come through. So I'll be doing a lot more of that and speaking to my higher self.
Beautiful. I like that.
Yeah. And I love that. Actually, what came to me when you were talking about water, we obviously did that breathwork session that you had earlier today, and part of it, I can't remember what the wording was, but what's your friend's name?
Maha.
Maha. Yeah, she said visualize something, and what I visualized was a tap running, and I just thought, wow, that's such a grounding thing for me. And we've spoken about water before, and I just find it so incredible.
Beautiful. Yeah. Energetic shower is an amazing thing to do, you know, just kind of shower yourself with some kind of energy. It's really amazing. Yeah. Deepening our awareness in a few next coming months is what I see.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And it does feel like a calm time. So wow.
Cool.
We've talked about a lot on this call, and I've got so much from it, so thank you.
Yeah, me too. I really fully appreciate it. And I appreciate the time that we're in right now because it's allowing us to grow in such a beautiful way. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy, but we're growing and that's what matters. And we're growing quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for being you, Roy, and thank you for being here for this live. And I'm sure we'll see each other again soon.
Yes, definitely. Thank you as well. I really appreciate this space that you provide. Thank you.
You as well. Take
and
care.
Thanks to everyone who's watching.
Have a great evening, and
see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.